It's time to exercise what we just covered about styling HTML elements. For the first exercise, you should bind the shape styles data attribute to the shape div elements style attribute. Then add a click event listener to the element itself, such that when you click it, its shape changes from round to squared or the other way around. Just to give you a small hint, you can use the border radius CSS property with a value of 50% to make the shape round. Also, you should manipulate the object with the vue.set method because using square brackets won't work, as we discussed earlier. The second exercise is perhaps slightly more challenging. Perhaps you remember the table with employees from a previous lecture. Let's make this table a bit more interesting by highlighting every second row. I have already added a class for you to apply to the rows. As a hint, you can use the loop index that the v4 directive provides, along with the modulus operator to check if the class should be added to a given row. And with that, I wish you the best of luck solving the exercises, and I'll see you soon with my solutions. Alright, I hope it went well for you. Here are my solutions. For the first exercise, I'll begin by binding the shapestyles data property to the style attribute by using the vbind directive. So vbind :style and shape styles. Since the object is currently empty, this doesn't really do anything. Let's change that by adding the click event listener that's going to switch between a circle and a square. So v_on:click, and I'll name the event handler change shape. And now for implementing this method, I'll add the methods object and change shape function. Within this event listener, I'm first going to check if there is a key on the shapestyles data property with the name border radius. That is the name of the CSS property that I will use to make the shape round. I'll check this by checking if the type of the key is not undefined. So if type of this.shapestyles, and I'll check the key with the square bracket syntax, border radius. So if this is not undefined, then it means that the shape is currently a circle, meaning that we should turn it back into a square by removing the border radius CSS property. Now, as I hinted in the exercise description, I cannot delete the object key with the square bracket syntax, as vue.js cannot react to this. Instead, I will use the vue.set method as we have previously seen. The first argument is the object that we would like to change. So vue.set this shape styles. The second argument is the key, which is border radius. And the third is the value. In this case, I will set the key to undefined, as this is required by my if statement, and because this will cause vue.js to not include the CSS property in the DOM. This should take care of changing the shape from a circle to a square. If the if statement evaluates false, I need to convert the shape the other way around, which I'll do by setting the border radius key to 50%. So I'll use vue.set again, with the shape styles data property, the same key, and I'll set it to 50%. Now I should be able to switch the shape by clicking on it. And indeed this works, so that's it for the first exercise. Moving on to exercise 2. As I hinted in the description, we need to make use of the loop index here, so I will add that to the v4 directive first. So let's go ahead and add the parenthesis and the loop index. It's true that one could accomplish this with pure CSS3, but we won't do this for the sake of this exercise. Now that we have the loop index at hand, we can bind an object to the class attribute with the vbind directive. So vbind class and an empty object for now. Since we want to conditionally add the highlighted class, I will add this as the object key and let the expression determine whether or not it should be added on a given table row. So I can add highlighted as the key here. And for the expression, I can use the modulus operator to check the remainder of dividing the loop index by 2. So I'll write loop index %, which is the modulus operator, and 2. So if the remainder equals 0, I will add the class, which is going to be the case for every second iteration of the loop, starting with the first row. So if the expression stating that the remainder should be 0 is true, then the highlighted class is added, otherwise it will be discarded by vue.js, because keys that contain a falsy value will not be added to the DOM as classes. Actually, that's all we have to do in this exercise, so we should now see a background color on every second row in the table. As you can see, this exercise was not that difficult as long as you are familiar with the modulus operator. That concludes the lectures on styling. Before ending this section of the course, I just have one more thing to show you, something that can save you a bit of typing and therefore time. So, see you in the next lecture.